The WAG festival, which took place in late summer, was a dedication to the death of the god Osiris and the ancestors. During WAG, the ancient Egyptian people honored the passage of souls and their journey to the afterlife. Osiris, the beloved god of the afterlife and resurrection, offered ancient Egyptians a time to honor their deceased loved ones while celebrating the eternal cycle of renewal. Let's look into WAG and how we can celebrate it today. The festival dates back to the Old Kingdom, so about 4,500 years ago. This era is most famous for the construction of the first pyramids, including the iconic pyramids of Giza, as royal tombs. So it's pretty cool. We are still thinking about it today. For reference, I have it on our Celebrate Pagan Holidays calendar in August. The dates actually shifted annually as the festival was based on the flooding of the Nile River, a time when the land itself seemed to die and be reborn. At its core, the WAG festival was a celebration of Osiris, the green skinned god who ruled the underworld and judged the souls of the dead. According to Egyptian mythology, Osiris himself had experienced death and resurrection, making him the perfect deity to oversee the afterlife and guide souls through their journey beyond the physical realm. The festival serves multiple purposes: honoring the dead, celebrating the promise of resurrection, and reinforcing the community's connection to the divine order of the universe. During the WAG festival, ancient Egyptians would gather at temples and sacred sites to participate in elaborate processions. One of the most touching aspects of the WAG festival was the practice of visiting tombs and burial sites. Families would bring offerings of food, flowers, and precious items to share with their deceased relatives. This wasn't viewed as morbid or melancholy. Rather, it was understood as maintaining the vital connection between the living and the dead. I think we can relate to this today as we still bring flowers and tokens to grave sites. The ancient Egyptians believed that the deceased continued to exist in the afterlife and could benefit from these offerings, while the living gained comfort and spiritual protection from honoring their ancestors. Many cultures had these same beliefs. The Viking ship burials have been found stocked with food, furniture, and livestock to benefit those going to the afterlife. The festival also included ritual reenactments of Osiris's death and resurrection, performed by priests in temple courtyards. These dramatic presentations help participants understand the deeper mysteries of death and rebirth while reinforcing their faith in the continuality of existence beyond physical death. The stories emphasized themes of justice, renewal, and triumph of order over chaos, concepts that resonated deeply with Egyptian society values. I have two videos on the family drama and love story between Set, Osiris, and Isis, and won't go into it here. I'm trying to get enough watch hours to be monetized and hire an editor to improve my videos, so please check one or the other out. Throughout the celebration, special foods were prepared and shared. Bread shaped like the Ankh, the hieroglyph for life, beer, and fruits representing fertility and abundance all played important roles in the festival's offerings. These foods weren't just sustenance, they were symbols of the life force that connects all beings, both living and dead. So, how, as a modern pagan, can we celebrate the WAG festival today? It's really not hard. The first one is easy. We can certainly replicate the Egyptian feast. Yum! Make your meal more meaningful by inviting an ancestor to honor. At Samhain, we have a similar meal called a dumb supper. Dumb refers to silent, not stupid. This is a silent supper that we have with our ancestors. It's silent so that we can listen to what our ancestors are saying to us. Set an extra place so your ancestor feels welcome to come join you at the table. You might include their picture or something that symbolizes them. Create a memorial display with photographs, personal items, or written memories of those who have passed. Light candles for each person or animal you wish to honor. Speaking their names aloud and sharing favorite memories or expressing gratitude for their influence on your life. This practice maintains the ancient tradition of keeping the connection between the living and dead alive and vibrant. This is my ancestor altar, and I am very connected with animals in my life, so I do have animals as for my ancestors. Creating a sacred space for your WAG festival celebration is essential. Set up an altar dedicated to Osiris and the honored dead. Include images or statues of Osiris if you have them, or create your own representations using natural materials like green painted stones or carved wood. Decorate the space with symbols of death and rebirth, wheat sheaves, seeds, chrysanthemums, and other flowers associated with remembrance. This is actually my altar to Bastet. She is one of my patron deities, and you can check out my video on her. Spend some time contemplating the themes of death and rebirth, perhaps carrying a special object that represents your connection to the divine. Consider participating in community service that honors the dead while helping the living. Ancient Egyptians believed that good deeds in life contributed to a positive judgment in the afterlife. You might volunteer for a food drive, volunteer at a nursing center, or contribute to causes that were important to your deceased loved ones. This practice transforms grief into positive action while honoring the memory of those who have passed. Spend time in quiet contemplation about the nature of death and rebirth, both literal and metaphorical. Consider what aspects of your own life might need to die to make room for new growth, or reflect on how the memories and teachings of a deceased loved one continue to influence your spiritual journey. I like to use a tarot or oracle deck to help guide me as I seek to make connections. Today, modern Egyptians celebrate Wafa al-Nil, or Fidelity of the Nile, during August, which celebrates the flooding of the Nile River. They make paper boats to float down the river. This is a time for Egyptians to honor the river's importance to their culture. But as the country is now predominantly Muslim, they don't include Osiris in this festival. Thanks for watching, and I wish you a very witchy day.